7 days and 7 nights.
Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I'm very privileged to have Mr. Mikey in here. He is a musician, and he's got a new album out. It's called The Learning Tree.
Yes.
And we're going to get to know him and just have a great conversation. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Kyle. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, of course, man.
Yeah. So I'm a Jersey boy over here. And,
I won't hold that against you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been here my whole life, 50 odd years old. Been in this studio here. This is my home here in the basement. It's 20 plus years I've been here.
Wow.
And, I recorded, I don't know, 8, 9 CDs, I think, thus far. And pretty nice place. Got the control room. I got the drum room and all out there, and all kinds of gear, as you can see. Pedal steel, country fan, as you know, mandolins. I had this big ass project, the Learning Tree, just sitting for years. And, with COVID and all that a few years back, I decided to get this process going. And, we could totally get into it, but I got to give props to my lyricist before I forget, Troy Rowley, who did the lyrics to this thing. It's kind of a conceptual album, kind of a progressive, obviously, with some digestible folk roots to it. For the average listener, not losing too many of the non-prog heads.
Gotcha.
So it's like I said, it must have started back in, God, I guess 2006 or so. I was in a rock project called Randori at the time, and more mainstream. Me and a buddy were trying to make it big in the rock scene.
Of course.
We actually got pretty close to getting signed over at Universal Republic Records back in 2008, I guess it would have been. But my fault, the stuff was probably a little too highbrow, a little too progressive. But some of these cuts were some of the material I was working on that was way over the line for this rock project. So the stuff kind of just sat for a while, knowing someday I would finish it and hit it hard. But it encapsulates like everything I'm into, the heavy drums, guitars. I orchestrate a lot. You'll hear orchestration going on, big old, Pink Floyd, Yes, vocals and harmonies and stuff like that. It's like a 9-song project. Like I said, Troy, the lyricist, managed to kind of tie these things together lyrically, to turn it into some semblance of order. And the Learning Tree was actually one of his lyrics. I'm like, we need a title for this album. So we had a list of maybe 5, 6 cool phrases that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And we're leaning towards the Learning Tree. And also the artwork, probably rambling here, done by my daughter, who lives in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Who is an artist, digital artist and old school.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing this via computer, going back and forth. She's sending me files, and she did the tree and a whole bunch of other artwork, which there's a little booklet inside, which has like pictures per song for the 9
right
songs, just some images per song. And then to take it even one step further, I'm like, I have my studio, you can probably see, set up for surround sound, and I never used it. I never utilized it. I use Logic Pro, the digital audio workstation. And I'm thinking, like, if any project is worthy surround, this is the one, you know. It's just got all those Yes Genesis kind of elements, you know, the mellotrons and the whatever mandolin, or let's put that over there in the back speaker. That would be cool. But some of that artwork, like I was saying, is going to be like on screen with, you know, little things moving,
Right.
some animation and stuff that my daughter did. And I'm still waiting for that Blu-ray to wrap up. I got the mixes and all, but I did release the CD, and it's on all the digital platforms now, if you like Spotify, whatever. But yeah, I heard the surround mixes. It's like, oh man, this is too cool. So I know even that's a small audience of people. One, it's progressive rock, and two, now it's a Blu-ray. Who has those systems in their homes anymore? But I'm like, you know what? If I get one, I just want one for myself. I know I'll sell even less Blu-ray, you know, than CDs. But I'm like, screw it. And in fact, I got this guy Scott Hull in New York, from Disc Master, or Master Disc, sorry, mastering it. Who I was looking up his credits, and it's like, oh shit, he did Rush and Sting. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the guy. You know?
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm looking at my own collection. I'm like, oh man, Rush, Farewell to Kings. I'm like, oh shit, there he is. So yeah, he's wrapping it up to this day as we speak.
Wow.
The final surround mixes. So that's like the ultimate audio representation of this thing.
So out of curiosity, because I've heard the term progressive rock all my life, what actually makes it progressive rock?
Oh man, it has to have mellotrons. That might be true. Oh man, I don't know. I guess it's going beyond the 3/4 chord format, right?
Right.
With guitar solos and some odd times, and yeah, I guess it's just very it's a very visual medium, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, it's got that psychedelic feel to it.
Yeah.
The vocals are a lot different than what you usually hear in other music, and the instruments. You get some crazy sounds out of the instruments.
Right. Yeah, it definitely stems from that late 60s, early 70s vibe, which I loved all that stuff, of course. Yes, Genesis, ELP. In fact, I'm in an ELP tribute band right now.
Really?
I'm Greg Lake.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty cool. Tarkus, they're called, oddly enough. Huh?
Oh, that's cool.
Their album, Tarkus. Yeah, they're fun. I just joined them, like, I guess, within this past year. They're like, yeah, we need a Greg Lake. You interested? I'm like, oh shit. I never thought, you know, playing bass and singing, and like, all right. I mean, I dabble in, as you heard, everything, the drums, guitar, bass, everything you heard there on the CD. But stepping up as a Greg Lake, that's like, oh shit, that's a tall order.
How many instruments do you play?
Well, I started out as drummer.
Okay.
I'm one of three. Youngest, I have an older brother who was a drummer, and my sister plays piano keys. My dad, we had the whole like Partridge Family thing going on back in the day. I'm like, 12 years old, and a little family band, playing firehouses and little $300 gigs. But at the time, I'm like, holy shit, $80. Whoa, this is great. We had done, my brother and myself, I started guitar, and I was about 11, I believe. And so we started playing, Yes and Genesis tunes and, ELP stuff. We started gigging with some of that stuff, a little Prog, with a buddy on keys, and we started doing some local clubs with that stuff, playing all the Prog stuff. But I was a drummer first, and then the guitar, and then the bass kind of falls into place, and keys. I went to school over Rowan, Glassboro, Rowan over here, Rowan University. When was that? 91. I graduated with jazz performance, bachelor's in music, whatever. Yeah. So I have that whole nerd jazz knowledge and all the theory. I love that shit though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the whole the Pat Metheny phase, the Eddie Van Halen phase, of course. Got into Holdsworth, all the heavies, John McLaughlin, and but at the same time, I'm like digging Vinny Colaiuta and the drummers, Bill Bruford, and all these guys, and trying to keep up with both drums and guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I started getting into recording pretty early as a teen with the 4-track cassette recorders, and later opened my own studio with the reel-to-reels, the ADAT machines.
Yep.
And I was recording local bands for years, just demos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the same time, kind of starting to produce my own stuff, making use of the studio, so yeah, I managed to probably bust out 8-9 CDs, I think, at this point,
Wow.
all different genres, some acoustic rock thing, kind of a country rock thing I did, even orchestral music. But yeah, this is the latest, the Learning Tree.
Yeah.
Like a biggie, like just throws it all in. Orchestration, acoustic, everything's in there.
Yeah, I got the digital copy of that, and when I was listening to it, I was like, "Wow, this is kind of like the late '60s, early '70s,
Yeah,
folksy
nice.
kind of stuff." And
Oh, that's cool.
kind of a little hint of Paul Simon and a little bit of America, and
Yes. Oh man. Thank you.
and I was
Yeah.
digging that, and then it's, I guess, would you call it Scottish or Irish bagpipes?
Oh yes. What do they call it? Julian pipes. That is Scottish, I believe. Yeah. I mean, they're just samples here on my keyboard. I got, orchestra, any sound you want, basically.
Right.
Anything's possible. But yeah, Julian pipes on that second tune, I believe. Yeah. Even the first tune, the pirate song, I had the little a little baby guitar. Kind of sounds like a mandolin. It's a 6-string tuned up to A, which actually that's on a few tracks, that thing. Even pedal steel makes it onto the CD. I'm a huge fan of country and pedal steel, man. First time I got that, I'm like, holy shit, this is, I got to say, the hardest instrument I've ever had to play. I give so much credit to the pedal steel guys. I'm like, damn. I seen them in Nashville. I was in Nashville back in 2005, I believe it was, and seeing these guys in Nashville, blowing over jazz changes on the pedal steel. I'm like, holy shit, man. I know the basics on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me to like solo on the thing, but yeah, even pedal steel makes its way onto this thing.
Well, every song on there is unique. I don't think there's any two songs that sound alike.
Yeah, all I knew was what the first song should be and what the last one should be, and then whatever order the other 7. I knew like pretty early on. I'm like, this sounds like an opener, and this sounds like a closer. This past year, I freshly recorded drums, vocals, of course. Some of those parts date back to like 2007. I'm looking at the dates on like whatever, a bass part, which is still there, like the original. I haven't changed it. Luckily I recorded things decently and have the studio knowledge, and like everything held up. You know, the original acoustic guitar parts. I'm like, damn, this is 2007. Wow. I'm like, I'm glad I recorded it pretty well. You know.
Yeah, man. As soon as it comes in your head, get it down as quick as you can. You never know
Yeah.
when you're going to use it.
Yeah. I kept saying with this project, like, what was I, maybe like, I don't know, 40 years old or something. I'm like, I'm going to finish this project when I'm 40. And then 45 comes on. And I'm going to, all right, then I'll finish it then, 45. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm 50. All right, I'm going to finish it when I'm 50.
Do you like get a group of guys together and go on tour, or are you just mainly
Oh.
a studio guy?
Yeah, this is purely a studio thing. I rarely gig with full bands. I gig all the time every weekend, but it's usually cover bands and stuff like that. But pretty rare. I gig acoustically with stuff like this.
Oh, okay.
Just totally stripped down acoustic guitar, because that'd be a real pain to try and recreate. You know, so many people asked, like, yo, if you ever, you know, tour with this, I'm your drummer. I got a drum on it, or I'm your keyboardist. Let me, you know, I'm the guy. So it's a tall order. But yeah, I really don't gig with the big bands. You know, just a handful over the years. I must say, it's always a stripped down solo duo thing. You know.
Have you made an album yet that you feel is kind of like your Sergeant Pepper's, or are you still looking to make it?
Well, of course, it's always the latest. Like, that's what, when I finished it, I said, I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I got nothing left. Like, this is it. I'm like, I'm empty, you know. I still feel that, you know. I'm like, shit, I wonder if anything will pop up. Oddly enough, it always does. I say this at the end of each CD, each project, you know. I'm like, that's it. I'm empty. I got nothing, you know. But I have some, like, still some leftover songs, believe it or not, that probably a good CD's worth. I might just wrap up. It's almost like I'm cleaning out the computer at this point.
You're gonna get it done by the time you're 55.
I know, right? Right. I know.
So you have your website.
Oh, right.
What's the website?
Just my name, MikeIan.com.
Mike Ian. All right.
Yeah.
And what about social media presence?
Yeah. Same thing.
Same thing.
Mike Ian, like everywhere. Spotify, Facebook. I don't use Twitter. What else is there? Instagram. I barely use that.
Well, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Man. Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Everything is available at MikeIan.com.
Yeah.
Okay. I will put
sir.
the link to that in the description.
Cool.
As well as your social media. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, I do. That's right. That's Mike Ian too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put the link to that as well. Once again, thank you. And I want to thank everyone out there that's, if you are new to this channel, thank you for stopping by, for number one. And please, I hope you'll come back and please subscribe. For those of you who are regular to the channel, thank you for your support. It's because of you that we do what we do. And so until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.